Okay, how's it going? So here we are in week 5, and this is discussion board post number 2. We're talking about some of the differences between ILS approaches and GPS approaches when we're using a G1000 system. So they're pretty similar, especially in the way that you manipulate the automation with the FMS, your en route portion of your phase of flight. It's going to be pretty similar. One of the big differences is that an ILS is a precision approach, and a GPS is considered a non-precision approach. So there's kind of everything that goes along with that. One of the big differences also is that with ILS, you have GPS information, but once you get to your final approach fix, it's for informational purposes only. It's for situational awareness. So when you get to that point, you have to use whatever nav aids associated with that point. In this case, if we're talking about an ILS, we're talking about localizer glide slope. You have to use that navigational information until, if you get to a point where you're going to execute a missed approach, you get past your missed approach point. So anytime inside of that, in that phase of flight, if you're using a VOR, NDB, ILS in this case, that's the nav aid that you have to use for navigational guidance. So that's a big difference. If you are using GPS, you have to have RAIN. So you have to have that integrity monitoring to make sure you have a receiver that has enough of the constellation of GPS satellites in view. Your receiver strength is good. There's no integrity issues with the satellite constellation. Also, the CDI indications is a big difference. So the angular limits for an ILS are just like they are for ILS, VOR, or whatever. Its full scale deflection is 5 degrees, and that's pretty standard. For the GPS, the sensitivity on the CDI is going to be different depending on what phase of flight you're in. So if you're in what's called the en route phase of flight, the full scale deflection is going to be 5 miles, which of course is going to be different than 5 degrees, right? So once you get within 30 nautical miles of your destination, it's going to change into terminal mode, which is now 1 nautical mile is full scale deflection. Then you get into approach mode, which is 0.3 or 3/10 of a nautical mile is full scale deflection. So those are some of the differences that I came up with. I'm sure there's probably others, but I'd be interested to hear everyone else's thoughts on that. Thanks for watching.